Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's men's meeting. Yes, I was given the task of speaking on purposeful living, faith, career, and family. Honestly speaking, these three components are one of the greatest things that men chase and men faced in their lifetime. How do you create alignment between your faith, your family, and your career? And I tell you, it has not been an easy pieces of fragments that ought to be put together. But with the grace of God, it is doable. Only if you understand that your faith becomes your compass, your family becomes your core, and then your career becomes your platform. I have seen people in the workplace disown their faith just because they want to play along. And I've seen people in the workplace disown their family because they are chasing promotion. And I've seen people in the workplace do all manner of things in order to grow in their career, abandoning their family, abandoning their faith. And until, like a Venn diagram, you find the midpoint, the intersection of these three pillars that guides men and human existence, especially in the workplace, you will keep, floating around. And why do I say your faith is your compass, your family, your core, and your career, your platform? I've worked in organizations where the MD of the organization is a pastor. And I'm not talking about Dr. Emmanuel Agu. I've worked in different places. And you don't see that pastoral calling come forth in the place of work. In short, as a matter of fact, I have no idea that my MD was a pastor until I left the business. And this is a business that I worked for 4 years and 6 months. It was one day that someone on WhatsApp status, the timeline you put on WhatsApp, screen grabbed him where he was raising a Bible with one hand and then a microphone on his left and said, "Your MD will be taking us on so and so course in the church." I said, "Who was that?" He said, "Your MD." I said, "What's he doing with the Bible in his right hand?" He said, he's our pastor. And a regional pastor for that matter. It was the biggest shock of my life. Because I did not see this faith and pastoral calling come through in the place of work. The place of work, the career, is a platform of expression where you bring that faith to life. But I didn't see it. And I'm not here to judge because I'm not God. Because when I got this topic, a whole thing was running in my head. How could one be a Christian on Sunday and be a demon Monday to Saturday at the place of work? And then you come to church on Sunday, you sing in the choir, you raise holy hands, you speak in tongues, you do all manner of things, but by the time you get to the place of work, you are a different entity. How do we balance this? And I've seen people, men specifically, married, but in the place of work they are single. Absolutely single. Chasing all the things that wear skirts. And some even deny their family in the place of work that they are not married. And I tell you, wearing a wedding band in your hand is not a symbol of marriage anymore. You can wear it and you can still misbehave. In short, as a matter of fact, it looks like even wearing the wedding band gives the opposite sex some confidence that this one is married, so he will not misbehave, he will not maltreat me. Not like those of us that don't wear it. We wear it in the heart, not in our fingers. But how do you reconcile this? In the place of work, you forget entirely that you have a family. Your behavior at work is a reflection of the family you come from. Is a reflection of the family that you are in. You might come from a very well-known family. Oh, your parents are well-known. That also does not define you until you exemplify it in the place of work. And now we talk about career. Career should be the platform of expression of both your faith and your family values. But career has become something that people look forward to. More like a do or die game. Do whatever is within your power to get promoted, play the dirty politics, undo people, do people, behave anyhow. At the end of the day, you want to ascend the career ladder. When you ascend the career ladder, destroying your family values, throwing away your most holy faith, at the end of the day, if you are not tired, you will be retired one day. That is the fact. And then when you look back to the people you have destroyed in the course of your career, the people you have maimed, the family you have ruined, all because you are chasing to get to the top, you will see that you will not have fulfillment. As a manager in business, before you lay people off, did you do the due diligence? Did you make sure that what you are doing is not just redundancy but right sizing? Making sure that if God is to appear visible before you, you will justify those decisions. When you promote people, do you promote people because they are within your clique? Managers coming into businesses and building cabal and cartels. You get a team that is united, you split them into two. Setting up moles to get information that are both accurate and inaccurate. If you are truly a child of God, you must draw boundaries between those. Because at the end of the day, your career is not just where you make a living. It is where you build legacies and you create values that are significant. So, faith, family, and career. Where do we draw the line? And how do we build alignment? Your faith gives you direction. Your family gives you the motivation that you need. And your career becomes a platform of expression. I've seen people go to work, come back every day, dead in the night. You have kids growing up. They don't know who you are. You're a man. You leave your children to your wife to train. And in the future to come, your son is misbehaving. Your daughter is misbehaving. And all the money that you have made chasing this career, just one randy boy that is misdirected can sell off all those things. Your family does not need your successful you. They need your presence. And how much of the time have we availed our children, our presence? And that's why you see some people, in the course of employment, they withdraw from work. I want to be with my family. And you think it's not a right decision. It's a right decision. Especially when the children are in the formative years. You need to stay close to them. You need to bond with them. You need to feel their pulse. Everything is not money making. I've seen billionaires, the moment they die, everything about their legacy goes to waste. Because they did not take time to build and bond with their family. So many families have experienced divorce today because God just lifted a man from a low income paying job and give him a high income paying job in a big multinational or even in an oil and gas company. And just that simple promotion brings the end of a family system. Because the man suddenly realized now that he can actually fly with the big boys on private jet, live the lives that he was unable to live before. And then his wife's values and beauty begins to diminish in his eyes. And this is the same woman he cherished so much when he had nothing. But the moment money comes into his pocket, he now remembers that there are Gen Zs out there. And truly, there are people out there to help you waste it, if you allow them to do so. So how do we balance these three pillars? We need God at the epicenter of what we do. In all thy getting, get wisdom and understanding. And this wisdom and understanding can only come from God. And that's where your faith becomes your anchor. I tell people, surviving this world, as much difficult as it is, if a man is double sure in himself of the God he serves, you can overcome every temptations of life. And that is when your faith is strong. When your anchor is holding strong. When you believe on the God that you know. You will see that with job or without job, you will be standing strong. But if you have an unwavering faith, your anchor is not strong. You will be beaten by every tides and every storms. So, career is important because it is an expression. It becomes an expression of our faith, where our values as Christians are being demonstrated in the workplace. Until your career becomes an expression of your faith, your work will not become worship. When you go to work, you go to work to make a living. No. When your faith is in action in your work, you go to work to create life and not just to make a living. How many people can owe their growth both in their work and in their career and in their family lives because of you? I've told people, my first 6 months in Guinness, when I joined as a management trainee, there was a massive redundancy that happened. And I saw junior managers, people whose pay and nothing to write home about. Thanking God. And I saw top senior managers seated on bare floor with their hands on their head. Because the junior ones knows that a time will come, this job may no longer be there. And they kept on building and building and building. And then the senior managers are there like, look, we own the company, we run the business. And when this redundancy happened, what you are seeing some people shouting, oh, if they have allowed me some 6 months, maybe I would have finished my house in the village. Or I would have bought this land in Lagos. And, all those things are gone. And I tell you, when they leave, you don't know how the workplace is until you leave. That is when you will know how strong your legacy is. When you leave your place of work, either joyfully or forcefully. That is when you will know how much you have impacted the lives of people. And that is because flies don't perch on water. They perch on honey. When you take a responsible position in an organization, everybody becomes your friend. People keep calling your phone. They keep on showing you lots of pretenses, false humility. But wait until that job is no longer in your hand. That is when you will see the nature of humans. I've been in that situation several times, and I've learned. When I left my job at the Lancaster company to go for my doctorate, for a year, 6 months that I was out of job, some people don't even know what I was doing. 98% of the suppliers, agencies, and the people, good men, people that I thought they were good men, this phone that you are seeing did not ring 3 times. Nobody. You're gone. But only my team, the people that I have groomed, people that I picked from agencies and brought them to the client side of the business and groomed them. Many of them equally left to different multinationals. But these are the people that keep on checking. So there are loads of false friendship in the workplace. Be not deceived. But if your faith is anchored in God, the waves will come, the storms will come, and your anchor will be holding strong. And that was why when I got done with my doctorate and I got a job with Premium Trust Bank, I did not put any notification. I only put notification on LinkedIn when I have left. And the moment I put those notifications, I started getting calls of, we can do this for your business. And by the time the person called me, I said, I've left too. The person will not call back again to tell you that the reason why he's calling is that job. And by the grace of God, I have failed to put my to put my current designation now. I don't know how many people that knows that I'm in Champions, not to talk about I'm in Uyo. People still call me thinking I'm in Lagos because they thought I'm still in the bank. But that's human for you. They don't go where they will not get things. And it is not you. It is the office that you occupied. The moment you leave, they will hunt for the next person in that role. What if you have destroyed your family in the course of that job? Where will you go back? What if you have destroyed your relationship with God? How did you even get another job? How did you? So we need to find a balance between our faith, our family, and our career. And if we do so, we will live a purposeful life. And that's where I'm going to end this conversation. Thank you for listening.